Hi everyone, I'm Ormonde. Welcome back to my channel. So today it's about the masculine fragrances in my collection. This was a requested video from me a lot of times, so I decided to do it. As a general rule, most of the niche fragrances are always unisex, so they're not really targeted towards men or women, but of course there are a few exceptions to it. But most of them are unisex, so they can be a little bit more masculine or feminine leaning, but everyone can use them. Designer fragrances are a bit more, much more like targeted towards male or female audiences. But these ones in my collection are not like the darkest, most darkest fragrances that I can think of. Yes, there are a lot more very masculine fragrances, but I don't think they're like very wearable. I've always said that I always think that a little bit more feminine leaning fragrances always smell better on men anyways. So these ones are much more wearable, but they're also, I think, very masculine. I can't even imagine a woman smelling like this because they're very masculine, but they're not too daring or too dark fragrances. So I think you'll enjoy them. So let's start. So the first fragrance comes from Ormonde Jayne. It's Montabaco Intensivo. So basically every Montabaco fragrance in that line can be masculine, like the other flankers, except for the the latest ones are a bit more fruity. They're more unisex, but as a general rule, Montabaco is a very masculine line. So this is a very fresh fragrance with citruses and tea and some very nice tobacco note. It's very classy. It's very sophisticated. I don't think it's very suitable for casual use. It's an amazing office scent. It's an amazing signature scent, but it I think requires a bit more dressed up audience, but it smells amazing. And since it's not for the cold weather, I think its performance is very good, especially with this Intensivo version compared to the original version, of course. So this is a very nice, masculine, classy, elegant scent that's geared towards the warmer weather. It's Montabaco Intensivo from Ormonde Jayne. So the next fragrance is Ganymede from Marc Antoine Barrois. Well, this is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. So I think it's a game changer. It's very specific, except for the Bois Imperial and Bois Imperial Extrait, that it's also from the same perfumer, Quentin Biche. So this is a very metallic, woody, also like suede leather scent that's very strong, very masculine. I can't think of a woman wearing this. This is a very masculine scent. It performs amazingly. So you can use this basically all year round, but you have to spray less in, of course, warmer weather. But this is also can be a signature scent. It's an amazing fragrance. If you haven't tried it by now, you should try it. It's Ganymede from Marc Antoine Barrois. So the next fragrance is Royal Oud from Creed. I'm usually not a very Creed fan, or much of a Creed fan, because I think their prices are too high. Their performance is not very great, but this is one of the Creed fragrances that I actually like. It's a kind of powdery green, like a woody oud fragrance. The oud is very light in this one. I can't even tell it's an oud fragrance, but it's very, again, classy, sophisticated. It's can also be a signature scent, but it might be a little bit weak for the very cold weather. But it's one of the great offerings from Creed. I think it makes you smell expensive and elegant. The performance is not that great. It's just very average, but you can always, of course, reapply. And this is also a perfect office scent. Again, it requires a little bit of dressed up, clothes, because this is not very youthful. It's a very classy gentleman scent. So it's Royal Oud from Creed. So the next fragrance is Jubilation XXV from Amouage. This is a classic fragrance. I mean, it's most people's favorite Amouage fragrance. I think the performance of these bottles, the new bottles, are not that great. The older bottles were just amazing. So this is a kind of a little bit fruity, like from the blackberry. It's a kind of smoky amber scent that's very, very specific. It's beautiful. It's very masculine. Of course, it's for the cold weather. I think it's has a very, very peculiar smell that if you like, you can always recognize someone sprayed this one. This is a beautiful fragrance. Again, it has like a little bit more average performance compared to the other Amouage fragrances, especially these bottles. But of course, if you spray your clothes, it's gonna last a lot longer. So it's a great ambery, like incensey, like kind of ambery incensey, just a little bit fruity scent that is just amazing. It's Jubilation XXV from Amouage. So the next fragrance is Gentleman from Superz Budapest. Well, this fragrance is basically, I mean, from the name you can say it's targeted towards men. It has like a man smoking a pipe on top in the front, but it's not like a very amazingly dark manly scent. It's basically like a vanilla tobacco scent, but it's not like when you say vanilla tobacco, it's not like a Naxos. This is more of a, the tobacco side is much more prominent than this one. It's a beautiful fragrance. It smells manly, but it's not too dark. It's very, very mass appealing. It's a beautiful fragrance. The performance is okay. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's a good performing scent. You should try this one. It smells amazing. That combination of tobacco and vanilla is just amazing. It's Gentleman from Superz Budapest. So the next fragrance is Apex from Roja. I think this is one of the most underrated Roja fragrances. It's of course a kind of old school for people or maybe over 30, but it's also very modernized. It's a dark, earthy green patchouli fragrance. It's not. I think it has very much of a mass appeal, but it's more towards like people over 30. It's a more. It's not a playful scent. It's more darker green, as you can imagine, like from this bottle. But it's beautiful. Its performance is okay. It's kind of smells like a barbershoppy too. It's like an old school meets the modern times. Beautiful fragrance. I love this one. It's Apex from Roja. So the next fragrance is Tobacco Oud from Tom Ford. I wish I could put the Tobacco Oud Intense in place of this, but it's discontinued, so I didn't want to put it in here. But this also is an amazing fragrance. It's one of the best fragrances of Tom Ford, basically, for men. This is a totally masculine scent. I mean, it's a tobacco oud scent, kind of. It gets a bit more, of course, sweet at the end. It's like a little bit boozy. When you first smell it, it doesn't smell good because it smells very funky. But like after 5-10 minutes, it smells amazing. It has an amazing sillage, amazing longevity. It's a very manly tobacco oud scent that is a bit sweet. It's not deterring. It's a beautiful fragrance. It smells amazing in the air. Like in the air, it's very, very mass appealing. If someone smells you, they would just be, they would love it and they would follow you. If they catch your CI, they will follow you. This is a very beautiful scent. It's Tobacco Oud from Tom Ford. So the next fragrance is Citrine from Manos Gerakinis. Well, I think the name for this fragrance is very, very misleading because this is not, like when you think of Citrine, you think of a summer fragrance like citruses, but it's not. It's basically a kind of dry, not very sweet, ambery, patchouli, leathery, and oud scent that has like a little bit of fruit at the top, like you have like a plum or something, but you don't really smell the fruit. It's very dry, but all of the other ingredients are blended perfectly, so you don't get too much of any of them. You don't get too much oud, you don't get too much amber. It's just a little bit smoky. It's very manly. It has amazing performance. So, but it's a very powerful scent, so it's not like a weak scent. It really is very powerful, so you should definitely give this one a try. It's Citrine from Manos Gerakinis. So the next fragrance is Wildfire from Malbrum Parfums. So this is a very, well, it has a match on top of it. So it's a very cute bottle. It's an extrait fragrance. Well, this is kind of a green, like peppery, patchouli amber scent that is, I think, very mass pleasing. It's a beautiful scent. It's a little bit smoky. It's not too much smoky. I mean, of course, there's a match. It's called Wildfire, but it's not that much smoky. It shouldn't deter you. It's very, very, I think, mass appealing, but manly scent, of course. It's basically an amber patchouli scent, but it smells amazing. Kind of peppery at the start, but a little bit of greenness. It's an amazing combination. This is not a brand that I hear a lot on the internet, but it's a beautiful fragrance, and its performance is very good. It's an extrait fragrance, so it's Wildfire from Malbrum Parfums. So the next fragrance is African Leather from Memo Paris. Well, I think this is the best fragrance from the Memo line. It's an amazing manly fragrance. It's basically like cardamom, maybe just a little bit of rosy, but it's a suede leather. It's very, very mass pleasing, but very manly scent. It's classy, it's elegant. It's for the cold weather, of course, but I think everyone can use it. I mean, the African leather shouldn't, of course, deter you. It's not like a harsh leather fragrance. It's very, very smooth. It's like a suede leather blended to perfection. The performance is very good. So this is an amazing manly scent. It's African Leather from Memo Paris. So the next fragrance is Ambre des Abysses from Houbigant. This is actually a bright citrusy amber fragrance. It's like a mandarin and mint opening. It's beautiful. It's kind of green, citrusy, like a very, very fresh amber fragrance that has a very good performance for the like hot weather. It's one of the best fragrances that you can use actually from like summer until the end of fall. It's not like a winter fragrance, but it's a beautiful, bright, zesty amber fragrance. You should definitely give it a try. It also smells very manly. This is a very masculine scent. So it's Ambre des Abysses from Houbigant. So the next fragrance is Alexandria 2 from Xerjoff. Well, this is actually, as I said in my previous Turkish videos, so this is actually what I thought the first Alexandria was when I first heard the notes. But that one is a bit more lavender forward, so it's very powdery lavender, amber. I think that's not very, very masculine. That's more of a unisex scent, but this one is more oriental. It has like the oud is very prominent in this one. It's a very, very oriental scent that also has the same DNA of the original, but it makes it more darker, more masculine, stronger, more overpowering. It's a very, very loud scent, of course. So this one is, I think, the original Alexandria should be when you think of like a desert gem collection. So this is an amazing fragrance. It's very masculine, very strong, very powerful. Of course, the original Alexandria can be used most of the seasons, but this one is like a very cold weather appropriate. It's amazing. You should try it. Alexandria 2 from Xerjoff. So the next fragrance is Behique from Renier. This is an amazing fragrance actually. It was a finalist of the fragrance awards the year it came out. It's a very peculiar, different fragrance. It's earthy, it's green, it has cannabis in it, it has tobacco, it has oud. It's a very, very manly scent. Kind of, the start is very, very harsh, like strong, but then it gets a little bit more mellow, but it's a beautiful fragrance. It's, I think, one of a kind. I don't think I've smelled this fragrance that smells like this. It has an amazing sillage, a lot of amazing longevity, but you really feel that damp earthiness. It has some anise in it. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's very green, but it's very green and a little bit smoky. It's Behique from Renier. So the next fragrance is Kutay from Unique Luxury. Well, this is the most realistic whiskey scent you can think of. It's actually the first few minutes, I mean, people would think that you just drank some alcohol. It's very, very realistic. But then it settles down a little bit more. It has tobacco, it has oud in it, maybe just a little bit of sweetness, but it's a very manly, amazing scent that actually gets compliments. Especially the older bottles have amazing performance. So this is something that you really get into, people smell you and they really wonder what you're wearing, because I got most of my unsolicited, compliments from this fragrance. It's a beautiful, loud, kind of a boozy, but like very boozy in the start, but then it gets that you can still smell the booze with the tobacco, the oud. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's Kutay from Unique Luxury. So the next fragrance is Layton Exclusif from Parfums de Mali. Well, Layton is Parfums de Mali's most, like the most sold fragrance probably. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's like a apple vanilla scent, basically a bit fruity. It's beautiful, but this one has the same DNA, but some like oud added to it, a little bit of coffee added to it. It's a beautiful fragrance. I think it's much more beautiful than the original one. This one has more character, it's stronger, it's more masculine. I think Layton is a little bit more unisex than this one. This is very masculine, very long lasting, projects a lot. It's a strong fragrance that still has the Layton DNA, which is beautiful. So you should definitely try this one. It's Layton Exclusif from Parfums de Mali. So the next fragrance is Meydan from the Spirit of Dubai. Mine doesn't have a cap, but it's a beautiful bottle too. It's basically a leather scent, a very, very realistic leather scent. Well, you can have like a horseshoe at the front. It's a bit green. You can smell a little bit of tobacco and oud in it, but basically it's mostly about the leather. It's not like a off-putting leather. It's a beautiful, realistic leather. It's one of the best leather scents I've ever smelled. I mean, I first had a little sample and then I had to buy a bottle. It's a beautiful fragrance. Its performance is amazing, very manly, leathery scent that is just very realistic. But I think it's also kind of mass appealing, but it's kind of a strong fragrance. It's Meydan from the Spirit of Dubai. So the next fragrance is Ambivalence from Roelen. Well, the last two fragrances are a bit more daring fragrances. They're more, this one is a bit like very, very sexy, a green amber scent that you can actually smell the cannabis like really strong. It's kind of damp, sexy, amber scent. I mean, the name is, I think, very appropriate because you really think, should I put this one on? Because it's a very strong, very sexy fragrance that you can actually really, really smell the cannabis. It's beautiful. The addition of that with the amber is just to die for. It's beautiful, a little bit sweet, green, beautiful, amazing fragrance. I think this one is very strong. It's beautiful. I'm not sure if it's extrait, but no, it's another parfum, but it has amazing longevity and projection. So this one is supposed to be worn at night out. It's not like a day fragrance. It's very daring, sexy, amber green fragrance, definitely for men only. It's beautiful. It's Ambivalence from Roelen. So the next fragrance is Jubilation from Tiziana Terenzi. This is a new discovery for me. Actually, it's a new fragrance. It's an amber patchouli fragrance, but it's also have that sweetness coming from the chocolate and caramel. It's a little bit smoky. It's beautiful. The amber is kind of animalic. I think it comes from ambergris. So it's kind of like an animalic, patchouli, amber, kind of sweet, chocolatey scent that is just beautiful. I mean, even the people who don't know anything about fragrance just love the scent. It's it's kind of animalic, but it's very, very mass appealing. You should try this one. It's very masculine. It's very powerful. Of course, these expensive bottles are actually usually very good. So this is one of the newest additions to that line. It's beautiful. I mean, the kind of animalic amber with the sweetnesses and the little bit smokiness is just amazing. You should definitely try this one. It's Jubilation from Tiziana Terenzi. Well, these were the fragrances that I thought that were masculine, very good smelling, like wearable fragrances. Of course, there are a lot of very masculine fragrances. I could have added like Sauvage Elixir or Fan Your Flames, which I talk about too much. That's why I didn't want to add in this list. Even Chanel, Allure, Home Sports, Extreme, all those fragrances. Even Drakkar Intense is very manly, but these are the ones that I first thought of when I think of masculine fragrance. I'm sure you have some other additions to this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one.